Guys, welcome, as promised, a very special malt review right now. We are doing, in honor of, what was it, last week? Our boy Johnny Fowle, Sotheby's, auctioned off most expensive bottle of Scotch ever. The Macallan 1926, fine and rare, specifically the artist label Valerio Adami. It also comes in this version, 1926, fine and rare, 60 years old. Forget the ABV, but this went for, what, 2.7 million pounds, I believe? Something like $3.2 million after fees. Nuts. Anyway, honor of that, a very special opportunity. Our other guy, Mark Littler, who has a nice shop in the UK, he sent us 3 samples we reviewed. Check our archives. Macallan, I believe Macallan 10-year-old, 12-year-old, Cole Ela. Check the archives. I'll post them in the description. Anyway, crazy thing. Somebody sent him a collection of bottles bottled in 1940s. Macallan, a couple others on his shop. Just search Mark Littler, Littler, you'll find it. And so, very luckily for us, not for the guy unfortunately, the Macallan, bottled 1940s, even though he had parafilm on the top, it leaked so badly in transit, only about maybe less than that of the bottle was left. Unsellable on the shop. So what Mark did, that crazy guy, he split the bottle into 1 CL samples and sold it with this beautiful envelope and card. So, this is the bottle. It was literally that light. So this is a Macallan-Glenlivet, back when it was liqueur Scotch whiskey. One of the first age statements ever on Scotch, 22 years old. Specifically a US bottle, 86 proof US, so 43% ABV, and imported by British American Importation Company in Los Angeles, California, our hometown, which at the time was Macallan's sole distributor for USA. So on the front is the shot of the bottle. On the back is tasting notes by none other than Angus MacRailed, who along with Serge Valentine taste for Whiskey Fun, 2 of our epic whiskey heroes, inspirations. Tasting notes, I won't go into them, we'll look at them. But basically what happened was, in the transit throughout the years, bottle aging, the ABV, see if you can see this guys, the ABV dropped from 43 to 40.5%. And Mark notes that on the bottle. So 1 CL sample, got a few of them here. Low ABV, want to make sure we have enough. Let these go to the side for a bit. You'll see why later. So, Macallan 22, bottle 1940s, 22 years old, 1920s Macallan. On the nose. Wow. Wow. This is like no other Macallan I've ever had. This is, wow. Sorry, guys. Give me a second here. This is one of those like whiskey wow moments. This is truly museum whiskey. This is heavily peated Macallan. This is funky. This is crazy. I'm getting like the full spectrum of notes as you would in your favorite high-end, heavily peated, sherried Lagavulin. Think Lagavulin 21, 1985 vintage. Old, heavily sherried Lafroig. Obviously, you think of Lafroig Samaroli, 1967-15. But just the full spectrum. But Macallan malt, Macallan sherry casks, 1920s malt. This is right between World War I and World War II. Imagine the history this bottle has seen. It's crazy. The journey it's been on. I mean, you're getting crazy, funky, like things I've never used for Macallan. Crazy, earthy roots, rhubarb, truffles, but it's like dirty, like mud, like dirty, muddy, old school peat. Definitely old school sherry. And you can definitely distinguish between, say, this 20s sherry and then later 50s, 60s, 70s sherry. Of course, crystallized fruits, crystallized ginger, all kinds of exotic honeys, definitely sherry notes. Fruit-wise, definitely orange marmalade, some apricots and peaches, but they're molded. But not like we say like moldy fruits later on in the 50s, 60s Macallan. This is different. This is like, it's heavily peated. It's hard to describe. It's the heavily peated version of almost like earthy roots, fruits growing underground. I don't know how to describe it. This is just off the cuff, guys. This is crazy. Wow. Oh, strawberries, banana, mango, papaya, every fruit, but also because of the heavy peat, all kinds of dried flowers, dried violets, wild dandelions, and old, I've only had a couple samples, but like those old, dirty, filthy chartreuses, those old Italian chartreuses with heavy bottle aging, guys, 70 years of bottle aging. Yes, the ABV's lost, but God knows how this has changed over the years. So the transit, the air already might be, at least for us, I feel sorry for the seller of it, obviously, but might be a blessing in disguise for us, for the evolution of it. Wow. Unreal. The nose is still very intact. I was worried about the ABV. Nose is very intact. Wow, little sip. Wow. Wow. Oh my Lord. Wow. Oh wow. And guys, this is not the first dram I've had today. I had a couple of warm-up drams earlier. It's pretty late here right now. Had a busy day, but wow, guys. This is drinking well above 43%, let alone 40.5%. Wow, this is unbelievable. Wow, very much on the palate. Again, like any heavily peated whiskey, much peatier on the palate, but translates well exotic, filthy, dirty old chartreuses. Dried, like if you took dried flowers and put them into a syrup, you're getting that. You're getting exotic rose water. You're getting much less of the fruits on the palate. Much more of the flowers, the herbal, the earth, the roots, chartreuse, the dried flower syrup. Definitely not quite approaching ever into the medicine or iodine level, but definitely some light tar for sure. Some light charcoal from the peat. Look at the color. Color's gorgeous. A 22-year-old Macallan back then, that's crazy. USA import, crazy. It was meant to be, USA, meant to be. And just on the nose, I'm almost tempted to add water. But I'm not going to, because 40.5%. I probably should, but not going to. But with air, with time, God has had a lot of air in its journey. The fruits coming out a lot more. Just with air since I popped this. The peat dissipating and all those fruits from the quality sherry casks coming out more. Wow. I mean, obviously, guys, you can see the level of complexity, the level of quality, the malt, the sherry casks. If this were cask strength, if this were like a Samaroli level, 57, 59%, we're talking about 95, 96 territory here, boys. Wow. But still, ironically, whether it's 1920s, not so much today, but let's say the good older Macallan 18s with the 1990s vintages, whether it's back then or today, pretty much that orange, crystallized orange, ginger, malt comes through. The malt is the same. That's a trip. Wow. Now, connection. So, I brought these guys because, point being, to connect the dots. This is not my favorite style of Macallan. This is. 1960s, unpeated. This is the old, moldy, filthy, dirty, fruit-focused, underground, some bacon, some char, some meats, some prosciutto. That's a personal preference. Fruit forward. That to me matches the Macallan orange ginger malt better. Everyone's different. This is, I would say, lightly peated. Not sure exactly. I looked for it, I researched. It's hard to find. I would say this Macallan 1954, the old Rinaldi's. The bottler was Campbell, Hope and King in UK. There's UK versions and there's Italian imported Rinaldi versions like this one. I would say this is lightly peated Macallan. You do get some elements. You get some flint. You get some gunmetal polish. You get much heavier char and smoke for the peat, but it's still fruit forward. And again, 1970s, much more like the fruit forward old moldy sherry, but this is a trip. This is like a 50-50 balance of the sherry fruits and the funky, crazy things that heavy peat can do. It's unbelievable. Oh, wow. Wow. And now, getting drier. Definitely getting, I mentioned before, gunmetal polish. Some flint, some ash. Wow. Oh, so much just exotic. I'm not a flower guy, but exotic, I don't know that much, but I can imagine, like we say, Adam and Eve fruits, exotic Adam and Eve dried flowers growing in the Garden of Eden that don't exist on Earth, on this planet, that you can't put into words. Just, again, new sensation I've never had before, just mind-blowing. The wow factor on this. Wow. And of course, same. More fruits, but definitely more on the nose. So, sorry to make it so long, guys, but some history here. I would say if the palate matched the nose in terms of the fruit level with all the other funky, earthy roots, tar, exotic different honeys, crazy dried flower syrup, crazy old chartreuses, orange marmalade. If the palate matched the nose on the fruits and the funky peaty stuff, and it were higher ABV, I could say it could get to a 95, 96. But because, like most whiskeys, the peat takes over a bit on the palate, I'm going to go 94. But that's how sensational, amazing, insane this old whiskey is. So in one way, Mark Littler, show you the spelling again, so you know, go to his shop. He still has samples available. In one way, Mark Littler saved us a lot of money. About 10,000 pounds it cost to get a bottle of this at auction, because we could just get some samples of it. But in another way, now, because of this, I'm dying to try one of the unicorns, the Gordon MacPhail Macallan 1937 100 proof. If you ever follow Instagram, Whiskey Vegas, one of his favorite Macallans, he's one of the few people in the world that has that. Very rare. Almost every Gordon MacPhail of the 1930s was bottled 43%. It's a 100 proof, 57%, 1937 Macallan. But basically, even though, again, I said I prefer this style, 1960s probably the best, maybe 1970s. Very intrigued now about exploring more 1920s, 30s, 40s Macallans. Ideally also the same as the Rinaldi, where the vintage started, 1946 and 47. World War II, more heavily peated. Macallans as well. It's endless. But the point is of this, all this shit we talk today about how bad Macallan's gotten, how you have to pay an arm and a leg your firstborn if you want quality juice from them. This is what they used to be. And there is a reason why they have the name they do today. It's on the past, it's on the history. So, it's what it is. All right, guys. So I'd highly recommend maybe get together with some friends. Christmas is coming up. Thank you, Mark. Great opportunity. Try for yourselves this quality Macallan-Glenlivet liqueur Scotch whiskey, 22 years old, bottled 1940s. Thanks again, guys. Let me know if you've tried any of these crazy Macallans somehow. Let me know what your favorite style of Macallan is. Is it World War I, World War II? Is it like us, 60s, 70s, fruit forward, the best sherry casks ever, moldy fruits, underground dunnage? Is it more modern? Is it the Macallan 18s with the 1990s vintage, the chocolate fudge orange? Let me know, guys. Get the conversation going. Talk shit about Macallan today if you want. The orange ginger is now pencil shavings, all that good stuff. All right, guys. Comment, like, subscribe. Have a great weekend. Cheers.